Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Classics Show. I am your host, Shabnaam Riaz. Okay, today we have, a special program lined up for you. And today we're going to talk about literature, art and catharsis. The element of pain, pain expressed by the creativity of the artist, the writer, anyone with a creative soul, and how it comes across to a reader, a person who visually interprets art, and just in general we're going to talk about healing. Healing is going to be a major part of this program as well. And for today's very, very interesting topic, we have with us in the studios our guest, who is Sadaf Raza, who herself is a writer, a poet, and also a Reiki master healer. Thank you very much, Sadaf, for joining us. Sadaf, I'm really looking forward to today's show because, some of the things that we talked about before starting the recording were really, really interesting. But before we come to those points, I wanted to just ask you about the lifelong relationship of art and literature with pain and catharsis, not just, as I said in the introduction, for the people who are writing or painting, music, whatever, and also the person who interprets that art. It's something that has been going on since centuries. Tell us about it.
Well, for everyone, it's a very personal process. And for a creative person, it needs to unfold at that person's pace. So, it's been going on for quite some time. We have the Greek theatre in which the audience used to be part of that drama as well. And they used to cry. The word catharsis came from that,
From Greek, yeah.
And we have those masks which shows different emotions.
Yeah.
So it is very age-long concept which is there. And when you are able to identify with whatever is going on in that art form, whether it is words or a picture, a painting or a drama, then whatever is going on within you, it comes out. And that is the process of catharsis, whether it is through tears or if someone is saying a line and you say, I just pass through this feeling, or what this person is saying is within me. And I believe that this is where the healing takes place.
Right.
This is when you let go of whatever is building inside of you, because there is something which is mirroring whatever you are passing through. So you let go of all that which is within you. You're not then alone. You're not in isolation. You can identify and you say that, yes, this person passed through. This is the emotion which I have felt. And now I can let go of it.
That's so true. The identification, the being able to connect with something. And sometimes a person is surprised to see that they have these feelings inside them, because in many times we're in denial. In many times, we will think that, okay, I'm tough, there's nothing wrong, I'm doing just fine. And then all of a sudden, through, any experience, many times through reading a book, identifying with a character, looking at art or listening to some, a piece of music or a song, and all of a sudden, as you said, you don't know from where those emotions come forth, and you think, and then you just start to examine those feelings and try to analyze them. That's the first step, isn't it?
Yes. Let me share with you one experience. My first book was published in 2003. It was like a sleepwalker, and it was my own personal journey of pain. And I say that, my life is turning pain into a metaphor. That is what I used to say. And I also say that the biggest earning, the most precious of my life's earning is the pain.
And again, that's so interesting, because so many people, you're saying that that's a precious earning, so many people just want to get rid of it. So many people just they don't want that pain.
Yeah, because pain and suffering is of no meaning if there is no lesson for you in it. You need to find the lesson in that period of time, whether it is years, seconds, or whatever. You need to find the lesson in it. You need to learn a lesson from that experience, and then you need to internalize it, incorporate it, reflect on it, and then move forward. coming back to that experience, so there was this girl I met just 2 years back, and she said to me, you know, there was this picture of mine, old picture of mine, which was published in that book, and she said, who is this woman? I said, this is me. I was like, 2003. Said, and are you the writer of Like a Sleepwalker? And I said, yes. Said, do you know, I have read each and every word of yours, and your words were a companion to me in my growing years. And even now when I say it, I have goosebumps, because whatever the critics or other people say, for me, those words said by that girl are going to be my most treasured of things, because in those difficult years of her life, my words were there.
And they meant something.
They meant something.
She could identify.
Yeah.
And
she was
it
going
helped
through
her
it, reading again and again. So she must be finding herself in those words. And what is that? It is a catharsis.
That's absolutely true. Okay, so another question I'd like to ask you is that it takes immense courage for a person to write about their own. I mean, many times we'll find poetry where things are written ambiguously, hints are made, references are drawn. A lot is left to the reader to, perceive their own thoughts or whatever about what is being displayed, be it writing, be it poetry, be it art. To come across and, to say to the world, okay, this is my story. Here is what I've been through. It demands a lot of courage.
It is, and you grow in courage with your years. It's not something which you're going to have. With my first book, I was that girl. I was hiding behind words.
Okay.
It was very difficult for me to come out with the truth. That is me. Because, I was not sure, because the problem with the society is that the society is ready to judge you on the basis of whatever. They judge you on the basis of your clothes, the words you say, what you look like, certain expression on your face. So you're just so much that when you are putting a book in front of an audience and you're saying, please come and read my book.
Right.
There is so much going on within you. There is this fear, what the world is going to say.
How's it going to be received?
And yes, there are family pressures. There are loved ones who say, please don't write this thing or don't say this like this. Because, the judgment, and in our society, there are other concerns as well, safety concerns.
Oh, yeah.
So it is difficult. But as you grow, as you advance in your creative process, in your expressions, you become rich with metaphors, and the world
wonderful.
Opens up.
Beautiful.
And yes, you need to be very artistic, very creative. And you need to come up with the things which are beautiful, painful, yet they are truthful and heart-touching. It should be something which should connect with the reader.
Right.
And the poems which carry your soul, and the stories which carry your soul, and the painting and the art where there is soul, it captures the attention of the audience, the reader. And the things which are just created with art, and there is no feeling in it, you can just...
You can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. The depth that you're talking about, because this is all about depth and layers, and in many times when we have creativity that comes from pain or turmoil, there has to be an inner turmoil, something that makes you restless, something that commands you to either pick up a paintbrush or a pen, type something, or compose music or sing something. Something's happening inside, and many of a time it is a painful experience. So would you say creativity and pain sort of have this link that is profound?
It is. When you write something which is coming from your soul, it is very similar to giving birth. You pass through
I absolutely agree with you.
Pain.
Yeah.
If it is something which is coming from your soul, if it is not something which is you are just creating for the sake of, you write an email, you write a letter, that's different. But when you're writing from your soul, that is very painful. And there have been moments in my life, and there have been poems where I have cried. I've cried after writing them, and I still cry when I read them, because I know what I passed through when I was writing those words. And yes, there are people who come to me and say, well, that poem of yours, you know, it kind of resonated with me. I don't know what you have written, what you are talking about, but there was something which touched me. What is it? Where is it coming from? Right. And yes, I am very open about my experiences. So I share my experiences behind my poems as well.
I think that is very generous of you. And also, as I said, it's very brave of you, because there are not many people who, especially in a society as ours, where many things are not spoken about. Many things are chosen to be ignored, or swept under the carpet, taboo, or not wanting to, you know, acknowledge that there's a problem. So people who are writing, who are like you, who are writing about experiences, who are bringing out their feelings, putting them onto the table, that's something that is, you know, really valuable. And other people, I'm sure, would want to follow suit. So what is your advice to people who have work like that they're a bit scared of getting across? They're, you know, they're just fearful. What is your advice to them?
If there are 10 people out there to judge you, there are 20 people out there who are going to find something from your words.
Wonderful. Yes,
they will
true.
come back rich. They will come back happy, filled. You know, when we read good writers, Gabriel Garcia, and I cried with Gabriel Garcia, and I cried with Toni Morrison. And there was a period of my life where I used to identify with all that was there with Sylvia Plath.
Oh, yes.
So when you read something that is powerful and beautiful, and it is personal as well, then you find a reflection of yourself in it. And if you're not a judgmental person, we are judgmental in so many ways. And somehow or the other, I feel that very simple people are better than people who have layers of, or the illusions of knowledge and this, you know, we have been about, we have the exposure, we have read these books, and we have like so many degrees and all that. They have so much within and around themselves. They are just cluttered, and there is no place for reflection, there is no place for light. So yes, they are going to be judgmental. But a very simple person would pick up the book and would find relief in the words. So for those who are still shy, I say, please go on, write. There will be probably people waiting for you. There are, and now I believe as a healer, you know, I believe there are no coincidences.
Okay.
I believe that there are no just sudden chance things. I know there is
Everything
always
happens for a reason.
a reason. So if you're writing something, if you're saying something, even if I'm sitting here, and if there is one person listening to me, and that something is going on in that, the heart of that person, probably there is a message for that person. This whole program is orchestrated. This whole setup is probably for that person. We might never know about it. Right. So this is the process of healing, and this is what you do in your capacity. So to connect, to heal. So please do it. If you have creative impulses, don't hide behind a world. Don't hide behind this thing that I'll be judged. People are going to judge you. They judged better persons than us. Yes.
No matter what you do. So, okay, you're talking about people judging, yeah? I think sometimes we are our own harshest critics, and we judge ourselves too harshly. What about that?
You need to, you know, when you connect with the divine, and this is my lesson, and this is what I have learned. I was always told, and I always say this thing, that being a woman in the society and being creative, having your own medium, you're never enough. You're never good enough for anything. Your probably physicality is not good enough. Your intellectual capacity is not good enough. Your degree, your whatever is not enough for the world. But if you start putting those lessons within you, they'll start doing real damage, and you'll lose the connection with your soul. So you need to fall in love with you. when you fall in love with the divine, you fall in love with you, because the journey is inward. So if being a creative person, because you know that you are connected to your soul. If you're creative, all that is probably your exterior is very bland, nothing, but your interior is very rich. Within yourself, you're so beautiful. Bring that beauty out.
I love that expression, actually, that, you know, the same thing, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Many times we miss the essence of a person by just looking at the exterior. So, you know, I love what you've said there. So creative people, how do they play this hide and seek with pain? Because they need the pain for the creative process. But at the same time, they've got to look out for not indulging too much into it.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a balance, isn't it?
Again, I'll share a story with you of my own experience. And yes, I've been through rough patches. And for those out there who are suffering or who are passing through depression, I've been depressed. I've been clinically depressed. And I've been treated as well. There was this time when a doctor, a very famous doctor of Rawalpindi, Islamabad, said to me that the only portion of life you have in which you can maneuver is 10%. The rest is beyond you. This means that you need to be on medication. Okay, and I said, okay, fine, because I need to go on, because I have a family, because there are so many liabilities, and I need to be a, you know, a person who is responsible not only for myself, for others. I'll take this medication. And that made me into that, you know, I say it, Prozac-induced zombie-like state,
robotic,
where you're just, okay, so if there is
so
a tsunami,
if
there is a tsunami, say, okay, there is a tsunami, fine, let's move on. So, you know, you're not reacting, because when you are into the drugged state,
your emotions and feelings are subdued.
So what happened, one moment, one day, I had this thing within me, and I said, you know what I have earned in this life pain. This pain gave me my words. It made me into a person who I am. I'm able to write, I'm able to speak, and I'm able to connect to the people. I can feel their pain, and people seek me out, and there is a reason behind it. If they come to me, there is a reason behind it. So I need to own this pain. I cannot go on into this zombie state. And then I asked Divine, and I said, Allah, increase my capacity. Increase my capacity. And I let go of those. I am not going to advise anyone to do it, but I did. And I said, increase my capacity and give me something through which I can do, you know, my healing. And can be a channel of healing for others as well.
Okay. So, you know, that's fantastic, because you were able to then make your pain your strength in a way. And we're going to get back to this. It's a fantastic conversation that we're having at the moment. Right now, we're going to take a break, so don't change the channel. Welcome back to the programme. We're talking about art, literature and catharsis, pain, healing, many, many things. And it's really, really interesting. And we've got, you know, fabulous guest here, Sadaf, who's talking to us about pain, what it does to a person, how you can make it your strength, as she has done, the relationship between pain and creativity as well. We're also going to talk about healing and how a person can heal. You're going to talk us through that as well. Right now, let's talk about a really important word that I think is lacking across, you know, not just our part of the world, but globally in general. empathy. Tell us about that, Sadaf, and why is it so important?
You know, we human beings, we have a lot of sympathy for the people who are suffering. And sympathy is of no use. Because when you have sympathy, you do something without feeling the real pain.
Okay.
You just do it for that moment. And you just get over that guilt which is nagging. And you say, I have done my part.
Okay.
What you require and what the world requires and what is required in healing is empathy. You need to be in the shoes of that person, very simple.
Right.
You need to understand the pain at the level of that person. Only then you can be a channel of healing for that person, for that place, for that moment, anything which you want to heal. So you need to get into the soul, connect at the soul level. And that is only done when you have empathy, when you know and you can internalize, understand the pain at that level. The world needs empathy at this moment.
Right.
So the problem here is that what we have done is that we have created this world according to our ego,
Oh,
who we are.
what a big word.
Yeah.
Huge word there.
We demand and expect things in nature, within other people and within ourselves, and everything is defined through that parameter of ego. Ego is what? Your inflated self. You know, when I say that we need to love ourselves, this love is very different from when this word of ego. Ego is what? The selfish drive where nothing other than you is important.
Exactly.
And things need to be in your way. So when there is ego in the world, then the things are defined according to that individual, according
Their
to that
needs.
needs
The
and
opposite of
situation.
empathy.
Yeah. So ego has made this world. I want this. You know, you have people. I'm only happy if you're going to bring marks. I'm only happy when you're going to do this. Or you give me so much satisfaction when you act in this manner.
So it's conditional.
So this is, yes. So yeah.
Yeah.
And we all need to understand that when we put those parameters, we just close that thing. We just surround it with darkness, and nothing comes out and nothing goes in. So the ego needs to be removed from this. And when you go to that unconditional love level, this is where your, the way, the most beautiful thing is we are loved so unconditionally by God. He loves us no matter what situation we are. We don't realize. Because we are expecting God, okay, I'm going to love you or pray to you if you do this to me.
That's true. And
We
also,
are putting conditions there as well.
And also, the amount, of times that we are being ungrateful.
Exactly.
And
ingratitude.
Yeah, and we're not realizing how many blessings there are and how much there is to be thankful for.
Because we are constantly in this ego drive of wanting and acquiring more. Because whatever is around us is not filling us. The most happy place is a very simple place where you are one with Him, where there is silence and contentment. And happiness as a feeling grows within you and then it comes outside. So you're happy, you create a happy surrounding, a serene surrounding if your inside is happy, if it is contented. So happiness and contentment, very important, gratitude, very important part of healing.
That's a very
Empathy.
important point that you have made. Inside, internal, your happiness is there. If you are going to allow external factors to upset you, or to make you unhappy. I mean, of course, there are some things that a person is, you will react to them. But the little things, the things that you can manage, if you don't let them influence that inner circle as you described, there's your contentment there, sealed for you, isn't it?
And you know, the world is never enough.
Oh yes, never.
People have money, they have power, they have control, they have
The more
access.
money you have, the more money you want, the more money you need.
You're beautiful, things around you are beautiful, and yet there is this emptiness inside of you. And why and from where this emptiness is coming from?
Yeah.
And what we do is we hold other people responsible for it. And
Passing the blame.
Yes, we blame people. You are a cause of my unhappiness. Because of your this action, I'm unhappy.
Right.
And this has created problems in lives. And you know, when problems are there at such level, how the disease enter your life. It's very strange.
True.
How disease, a problem, get hold of your body and then manifests itself. It has its roots in all these discontentment, all these small, irrelevant things which you have been just adding. You're going on in circles. You're not going to break that circle because there is so much comfort in misery. You know, even we find comfort in misery. We are miserable.
You wallow in it.
Yes.
A person often wallows in that misery.
Yes. And you know what happens? Like, you know, people come to me for healing. I do Reiki healing.
Right.
And they say, well, you know, I have this problem and this pain and this thing and this thing. And it's been going on. I've been to a doctor and I've taken this medicine and this MRI and this all that and everything. And, you know, because we go through guidance after talking to them. And I say, are you ready for healing?
Okay.
Because if you're ready for healing.
How are you ready?
Yes. That is the thing. The people who just go from one door to another, they're not looking for healing. They're just attention seekers.
Okay.
Okay?
So how do you make that definition? How do you know?
It comes to you. It comes to you.
Okay.
When someone seriously need healing, he or she will find you. You
Okay.
become that channel for that person's healing.
There's some sort of a law of attraction there.
It is, I call it guidance. You are, you know, as I said, nothing is done. There is no coincidences. Everything is planned. So if someone seriously needs to get healed and you're that channel, then that person will find you. And then again, there will be people coming like that. It's up to you. As a healer, it's up to me to decide. And yes, I cannot say no to them.
Okay.
But I also say that you need to decide whether you want to get healed or not.
Okay.
Because I am just a channel. I don't have anything within me. And your healing is going to come from the divine. And it's going to come to you if you're going to ask for it. If you're not going to ask for it, in the real sense, if it is just something to distract your mind, if you just want to go on into circles, then there is no healing for you here.
Okay.
So that is also very important for all of us.
Another thing that you said that was, you know, I found very interesting is healing needs to be asked for, and it's not an act of charity.
It is not. It is not. When I started my path, like I found my path. This is how you say it, because you're not sure. You're just going through life and you're asking for something, and then you're filled with something. And if you are blessed to be filled with something, that is your path. So when I started doing Reiki and healing, and I was writing and doing all these things, so, you know, I used to feel, because of this empathy, because of this pain connection with the world, whatever is going on in on the TV, the programs, whatever is going on around me with the people, there are people who are in pain, who are very close to me. There are people who are connected to me somehow, they are in pain. There's something going on. There is this, you know, a disaster, and you get affected. And I would sit there and tears flowing down, and I would send Reiki, and I said, oh God, please remove this suffering. And then I realized, who am I to do it? Who am I to do it? Why I am doing it? No one asked me. That person is oblivious. That person is not interested in my healing. Why I am investing my love, my energy into this thing until and unless this person need to ask, this situation need to ask for this healing. So that, you know, because let me tell you something. Years back, you remember that Baldia factory disaster? And I was sitting there before the TV and I was crying. And I was crying and I was sending healing. And I was sending healing. And after 2 days, like it was going on, so much of it was on TV, I was feeling completely drained, because what was going on is that, you know, when you send your energy across time and space, distant healing, we do distant healing.
Right.
So you're connected to these people who are suffering there at the other end.
Right.
The survivors, the relatives, the people who are going through it. And that was coming in waves to me. No one asked for me, of me to do this. It was out of my own heart that I was doing it. And what good I was doing, excuse me, what good I was doing. I was trying to change a certain situation. Was I taking any action, doing something? No, I was just sitting there. So I realized that healing needs to be asked for. And I'll be a channel of healing for those who will be sent to me.
Okay, okay. So
it's a very strange, it's a very difficult.
It's very, very fascinating, actually. And, you know, we spoke about this as well before the program. A person can heal themselves.
Yeah.
How can that happen?
Every time, and this is again a very different concept from what people hold. You say you get drained.
Yeah.
You get drained where your energy is not required. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Where you are giving this energy to someone who is not seriously deserving it.
Okay.
So you get drained. But where your energy, your healing, this love is required, there you get fulfilled. And yes, in the process of healing others, since you're just a channel, you get healed yourself.
I see. So this is a two-way sort of...
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Okay.
So sometimes in a situation, I am sitting there, there is someone who is consulting and I have not started the process of, you know, how we go do Reiki. And I am saying something to that person. In that moment, I am reminded that this word, this sentence you have said is not for that person, it is for you. And I said, oh, well, you know, I never thought about it. But this is how my things are too. So you get healed as well. So when you heal others, you're getting healed yourself.
Yeah, again, you know, for people who do not know about this, it's very fascinating.
It is.
And I'm sure that, you know, many people are going to want to know more about it. So they can search on the internet about
they
it?
can,
There are
they
courses
can.
to take? How do you learn it?
You learn it through a master.
Okay.
And then again, I'm not saying that for everyone Reiki is the path. There are other channels of healing. There are other mediums of healing. There are other disciplines of healing.
What are those?
Healing needs to be an attitude. A doctor
Okay.
is just a doctor,
Right.
is not a healer. Healer he'll become when he'll be at that place where he'll connect. So we have professionals and we have, you say, a doctor is a healer, you know, because he has invested so much of his time and energy and money into making something. But he will not become a healer if he is not
Connected to
at
his
that
patient.
level where there is no soul connection, where he's not able to understand the things. Sometimes ordinary people, people who are just completely illiterate, they have this ability. If they sit with someone, they can heal.
Yeah.
By just sitting silently with someone, you can heal that person.
That brings me to the point that, you know, the sort of feeling you have when you're with certain people, some of them you come away and you're completely drained of energy.
Yeah.
And with others, you're just motivated and inspired, and you don't even know what really happened.
Yeah, yeah.
This is the same thing.
Yeah, this is the same thing. For some, it is just their presence. And I discovered it after Reiki.
Okay.
At times, I am not doing Reiki. At times, I am not passing on energy. I am just, and I'm asked not to. I'm guided not to. So by just sitting there, you can heal someone. By just saying certain words in a certain way, in a certain manner. By saying something which you're asked to say, you're healing someone. By just holding a gaze, looking into someone's eyes, you're telling that person, I'm there for you. And you're healing. By just the tone of your voice, you are saying nothing relevant. But your tone of the voice is such that it is soothing,
sincere,
and it is healing, and it is going to the heart. You may not say heavy words. Then at times there is nothing much to talk about in ordinary situations. You just say some sounds there, some very simple words. I understand. You know what, I know where you're coming from. But the tone of your voice, make it into a healing process. Sometimes by just touching someone. Yes, we do healing through our hands. That is another process. That is through Reiki when we do it. But just touching someone, you can heal that person.
Can you heal with words?
Yes. Written, verbal, both.
Written and verbal?
Both.
So written would be how? This would be a...
It
something
depends.
to read
It is,
to the other person?
Remember the tradition of letter writing?
Oh, beautiful.
Now
the whole
we
process.
Have,
It wasn't just the letter writing. It was, you know, it started with the writing the letter, okay, writing down, taking time, patience, energy, selecting your words, your handwriting, the paper you were going to write in. Okay, then putting that into an envelope, going to the post office, putting a stamp on it, putting it in the post box, this whole process, sending that letter off, and then waiting for the person to read that letter when it would arrive, and just, you know, wondering as to what they would think when they get that letter. And then the next process would be waiting for the reply. So that whole process, it was just so valued, because you had all this time that you're waiting for that reply. And then when you actually received the letter and the happiness that you'd get.
Yes. That is the thing.
Yeah.
So yes, and even the books, you know, the intention on your side and the writer's side, or whatever, in any situation, even if there is this conversation, I'm a healer, another person is a healee. So the intention of healing needs to be there. Okay, I am in pain, I need to get healed. And there is nothing in front of me. There's just a pile of books lying there. And I pick up the first book and I keep it in my hand. And I say to Allah with this intention, and my intention is, give me, guide me, heal me. Send me a path. With this intention, you open the book and you'll find the words which are sent to you. And you try it. I am asking, you go home, you try this, you tell your friends, just any book, any book, newspaper, anything. You hold it in your hand. You ask Allah, I'm at this spot. I don't know where to move on to, where to go, which direction to follow. Send me something, guide me, help me. And if there is any conflict within me, show me how to resolve it. I need healing at this moment. And you ask, that becomes your intention. You open the book, the words are there for you.
That's beautiful.
And these are very small miracles. And we have stopped noticing them. We have stopped doing it. There used to be this urge within us. You know, remember
because
those...
things are happening too fast.
Exactly. Remember those uncles and those cousins and I'm thinking of someone, and that person is thinking of someone, and say, okay, let's call them, let's write a letter to them, let's send a postcard. That is God telling you that person needs you. Please connect.
What a lovely thought.
Yeah,
What a lovely
please
thought.
connect.
Absolutely.
So, we have stopped doing all
We
that.
have. Because, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the program, because I was thinking of so many questions to ask you regarding that as well. It seems that our priorities are that time seems to be flying. We don't have enough time because we're not working out our priorities. So anyway, that's something for another program, actually. So we'll definitely have you back on the show. So that just before we go, a short poem. I would love to hear something from you. Do
Okay,
share
this
that with us.
one, this poem is, my love is a green cloth stretched for arms. Green is the color of abundance. It's the color of unconditional love in Reiki. In this moment when the time has stopped its merciless grind, my love is a green cloth stretched for arms. Together the stars inscribed with laughter. The golden dust bespeaks of your wisdom slowly settle in my veins. With your love by my side, I'm asked to give birth to light. Soon I said, let me breathe in the ecstasy of being answered. Let me water myself with the coming rains, 'cause my love is a green cloth stretched for arms.
Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Loved it. Thank you so much, Sadaf, for being such a valuable guest on the program.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we come to the end of today's episode of the Classics Show. It was something that I really, really enjoyed so much to understand and absorb and apply in real life, and all that catharsis and pain, take notice. And as our guest said, as Sadaf said, she's been very brave, made pain her friend. So there's so much there to learn. Until next week, stay happy. Bye bye.